In 47 seconds, everything Elon Musk has ever built will either survive or disappear forever. Not slow down, not restructure, disappear. SpaceX has no money left. Tesla is hemorrhaging cash. Elon has been borrowing from friends just to pay his own rent. And you are standing in the control room, watching the countdown clock, knowing that if this rocket fails tonight, you are all going home for the last time. Stay with me. Because what happens in the next 10 minutes is the reason you have a smartphone in your pocket, the reason satellites cover this planet, and the reason humans might one day walk on Mars. It all comes down to this one rocket. On this one night. Let's go back. It's 2002. You are sitting across from Elon Musk at a table in California. He has just sold PayPal to eBay for $165 million. He is 31 years old. He is rich. He is done. Except he isn't. He slides a piece of paper across the table. On it is a single number. The cost of launching one rocket to space. $50 million per launch. For a rocket that burns up in the ocean and never flies again. He looks at you and asks one question. What if we built a rocket that came back? You don't laugh, but everyone else does. Aerospace engineers with decades of experience tell him directly, you will fail. Former NASA officials tell him, private companies cannot do this. His own friends tell him, Elon, please, just invest the money. He hears all of it. He smiles at all of it. And then he spends $100 million of his own money to start SpaceX, named after the Millennium Falcon, a fictional ship famous for barely making it. The irony will not be lost on anyone. March 24th, 2006. You are on Omelek Island, a tiny piece of rock in the Pacific Ocean so remote that the nearest grocery store is a 2-hour boat ride away. The first launch. The rocket rises. You watch the altitude number climb. 25 seconds. Not the way you wanted. A fuel leak has ignited just above the engine. The rocket is not rising anymore. The rocket is turning around. It comes back down onto the launch pad. The explosion is visible from miles away. Everything they built, every component, every weld, every late night, gone in under 30 seconds. The cause? A corroded nut. One small piece of metal the size of your thumbnail. One overlooked detail. One enormous fireball. The media writes the obituary before the smoke clears. SpaceX, a billionaire's expensive mistake. You look at Elon. He stares at the wreckage for a long time. Then he turns around. We fix it. We launch again. March 21st, 2007. You are back on Omelek Island. This time the engine works. This time the rocket climbs. You watch it punch through the cloud layer. You watch the altitude climb past 100 kilometers. Past the edge of space. For 289 seconds, everything is perfect. And then it rolls. Slow at first. Then faster, the fuel inside the tanks is sloshing. Liquid shifting. Momentum building. The guidance computer tries to correct. It can't. Falcon 1 spirals out over the Pacific. No explosion. Just a long, quiet tumble into the ocean. 2 launches. $200 million sinking in water so deep. No one will ever find the pieces. Elon publishes the failure report publicly. Every detail. Every mistake. For anyone to read. Some people respect him for that. Most people think it's the final chapter. There is no third chapter. Except there is. August 3rd, 2008. You are in the control room for the 3rd time. The team is smaller now. Some people have quietly moved on. You don't blame them. This launch feels different. Stage 1 performs perfectly. The rocket rises clean and straight. The atmosphere thins below you. The ocean turns into a blue curve. Altitude climbing. Velocity building. Stage 1 burnout confirmed. Stage separation. The room holds its breath. This is the moment. The empty first stage falls away. The second stage engine has to ignite. Clean. Controlled. Except the first stage doesn't fall away cleanly. Residual thrust. The spent engine still pushing slightly. Just enough. Just enough to bump back into the second stage. Both tumble, neither reaches orbit. 3 launches, 3 failures. One engineer walks to the parking lot and cries. No one tells him to stop. because no one has the words. You look around the room at the people who gave up other jobs for this, who believed in something that has now failed 3 times in front of the entire world. And then Elon walks in. He doesn't look broken. He looks like a man who has calculated the situation completely and made his decision. SpaceX is in this for the long haul. We will never give up. Some people believe him. Some don't. Everyone goes back to their desk. Here is what they will never put in the documentary. After 3 failures, the money is not almost gone. The money is gone. Elon has drained his own savings into SpaceX and Tesla. Tesla is on the edge of collapse. The 2008 financial crisis has just detonated across the global economy. Banks are falling. Investors are running. Nobody is writing checks for rocket companies. Elon is borrowing money from friends. His marriage is ending. The press is treating him like a cautionary tale. And there is one rocket left. One. Not one more funding round. Not one more year to iterate. One physical rocket, already assembled, already sitting on the pad. The last one they could afford. After this, there is nothing left to build with. The team knows. Nobody says it out loud. But the resumes being quietly updated at night tell the story. If this fails, SpaceX does not survive until morning. September 28th, 2008. You are back in the control room. For the last time. The room is smaller than people imagine when they think of rockets. No massive auditorium, no floor-to-ceiling screens, no orchestral tension building in the background. Just folding tables, cables across the floor, laptops, energy drinks nobody is touching anymore. Every system on this rocket has been reviewed until your eyes couldn't focus. The corroded nut from launch 1. Fixed. The fuel slosh from launch 2. Fixed. The stage separation timing from launch 3. Fixed. You have done everything you could do. You have thought of everything you can think of. And still the doubt sits in your chest like a stone. Because doubt doesn't disappear just because the checklist is complete. T-minus 30 minutes. Liquid oxygen begins flowing. Numbers scroll across every screen. Green. All green. Elon stands at the back of the room. Arms folded. He looks calm. He is not calm, you can see it in his jaw, in the way his eyes move from screen to screen, in the way he hasn't spoken in 20 minutes, T-minus 20. Range, green. Weather, acceptable. Guidance, internal. Fueling, complete. Every call-out is steady, flat tone, professional voice. Nobody lets the fear into the words, but it is in the room, everyone feels it. T-minus 10. No side conversations, no jokes. No one is thinking about anything except what happens next. Fuel pressure, stable. Tank temperature, nominal. Battery voltage, good. T-minus 5. Engine chill sequence begins. Liquid oxygen cooling the engine from the inside, preventing thermal shock at ignition. Temperature dropping. Steady, predictable. So far, someone in the back takes a slow breath. Nobody looks at each other. If you make eye contact right now, you might see what you're both thinking. And you don't want to see that. T-minus 60 seconds. This is where time stops behaving normally. It stretches, each second heavier than the one before. 10, 9, 8. Your hands are on the console. You are not moving. You are not breathing. 7, 6, 5. Ignition sequence start. The engine lights. The rocket shakes. The launch stand shakes. The floor underneath you shakes. For half a second, every brain in this room waits for fire. The wrong kind of fire. The kind you've seen 3 times before. It rises. Slowly. Impossibly slowly. Like it doesn't want to leave. Like gravity is making one final argument. Then it goes. Velocity building. Altitude increasing. Guidance. Stable. Nobody celebrates. You do not celebrate liftoff when you have watched 3 rockets fail. You survive liftoff. Max Q approaching. Maximum aerodynamic stress. The moment where the air pushes back hardest, where the structure either holds or breaks. The structure holds. Max Q nominal. A small crack appears in the wall of fear inside your chest. Just a crack. You do not let it become anything yet. Stage 1 burnout. Stage separation. Every person in this room leans forward at the exact same moment. This is where Launch 3 died. This is the seam between survival and history. Separation. Confirmed. Second stage ignition. Clean. The telemetry line climbs. Altitude. 100 kilometers. The edge of space. But reaching space is not the same as reaching orbit. Orbit is a speed. 17,500 miles per hour, and every mile per hour has to be earned. You watch the propellant levels dropping. You calculate the burn time in your head. Is it enough? Is it actually enough? Minutes pass like hours. The room is completely silent except for call-outs. Nobody is willing to speak. Nobody is willing to break whatever fragile thing this is. Burn nearing completion. Engine cut off. Silence. Now you wait, waiting for tracking confirmation, waiting for signal lock, waiting for numbers to tell you what your body already wants to believe. Signal acquired. Velocity, nominal. Perigee, above atmosphere. Orbit achieved. The words appear on the screen. Orbit achieved. Nobody screams. Nobody jumps. It is too fragile to celebrate immediately, like a soap bubble you don't want to touch. Then someone laughs. A strange, quiet, disbelieving laugh, like a person who just woke up from the worst dream of their life and realized it was a dream. Then another. Then the room cracks open. Tears on faces that have been stone for hours, hands that were steady on consoles now shaking, people who barely know each other holding on to each other. Across the room, Elon sits down. He doesn't look victorious. He doesn't look like a man who just proved the world wrong. He looks like a man who has been carrying an enormous weight for a very long time and has just been allowed to put it down. Let me tell you what that orbit actually meant. Governments had been reaching orbit since 1957. The Soviets, the Americans, everyone. So what made this night different? No private company had ever done this. Ever. With their own money, their own rocket. Built from scratch. In a warehouse by a team that most of the world had written off as delusional. This orbit meant NASA might finally take them seriously. This orbit meant Falcon 9 was no longer a diagram on a whiteboard. This orbit meant landing rockets back on Earth was not science fiction. It was an engineering problem. And engineering problems get solved. 6 weeks after this night, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract, not because it had never failed. Because it survived. Because on the night it had every reason to stop, it didn't. And I want to pause here and ask you something honestly. After 3 public failures, after the money was almost completely gone, after your name had become a punchline in every aerospace boardroom in the country, would you have launched that 4th rocket? Or would you have taken what was left, walked away with your dignity, and told yourself you gave it everything you had? Because here's the thing. Walking away would not have been cowardice. It would have been rational. It would have been logical. Every financial advisor, every risk analyst, every person with an MBA would have told you the same thing. Stop. But Elon didn't stop. And because he didn't, Falcon 9 flew. And because Falcon 9 flew, a rocket landed itself back on Earth, standing upright, engines cooling like it had never left. And because of that, one day, human beings will stand on Mars, traced back to one rocket, one night, one decision to not stop. But here's what no one tells you about what came next. Because landing a rocket back on Earth doesn't sound impressive until you understand what it actually requires. We're talking about a machine moving faster than a bullet, re-entering an atmosphere hot enough to melt steel, flipping itself upside down, reigniting engines it just used to go to space, and landing on a platform the size of a football field. In the middle of the ocean. The first time they tried it, the rocket hit the platform so hard it exploded. The second time, it ran out of hydraulic fluid and fell sideways. The third time, one of the landing legs failed to lock. 3 failures. Sound familiar? The next time we're in this control room, the silence will be even heavier, because this time the rocket won't just try to reach space, it will try to come home. Before that, drop a comment right now. Would you have launched that 4th rocket? Yes or no? I read every single one. And if you want to be there when the rocket tries to come home, you know what to do.